report you're going to print. Zern is the most difficult report. Khan Academy is easier to pull. We can look at both of those, but Zern, we gotta kind of look at that and see. What is Number Talk? It says that Number Talks are 10 to 15 minute mental math routines created by Ruth Parker, all that good stuff, in the 1990s. It transforms the culture of the classroom to one of inquiry and curiosity. So these are some of the guiding questions that the kids are stuck. They can say, I notice, I think, I wonder. My solution is, I disagree with, I know my answer is right because. This strategy I use, I agree with another way. This remind me of, I would like to add that. So these are just some of those sentence conversation pieces. This is what kindergarten is expected to know how to do. I will share with them, I'm sorry, did I? Oh, I did that on there. I will share with them that by the time the kids get to 4th and 5th grade, the vocabulary changes, because in kindergarten, this is not a square. When they get to 4th grade, it is a square. So we're trying to reteach what they've been told is not, because of the way the vocabulary is set up. Yeah, that's kindergarten. These are some of the vocabularies for kindergarten of the geometry. They have to know prisms and cubes, which they call, they could be rectangular prisms as well. And this is like a test question that it came from Achieve the Core, but it looked like they pulled this sample from math. So I like those. This is what first grade.
Because they have to drag it into it.
This is first grade. I just wanted to kind of show you guys leading up to what third is supposed to. This is what first grade has. And we were talking about if a kid tells you, oh, one of the shapes is blue or one of the shapes are open, and that's all they can tell you, they can't tell you why, then they really don't have knowledge of the shapes. Because color and orientation has nothing to do with describing shapes. Because if you say, oh, one turned to the side, does that mean that it's not a square because it's turned to the side? That's not one of the attributes that they will use to describe the shapes. And this is also what first grade has. This is second grade where they start to partition the shapes. And this is one of the questions for first grade. Move the shapes that are divided into quarters to the max. So getting them to understand the fraction vocabulary and then the shapes. So you go here. This is second grade. You guys are third grade. This is what third grade has. All right. So what I did was I pulled one of the questions from Achieve the Core, and you can just show them the shape and just ask them which one doesn't belong, or just ask them what they notice. So if I ask you guys which one doesn't belong, what would you say and why? What doesn't belong in this set of shapes, or what's different about this?
More than one. You take more than one.
Sure.
No, I noticed that they all have vertices, they have points.
They all have vertices and points. Okay.
I noticed that 3 out of the 6 are have 4 sides.
Which 3 are those?
E, D, and C. I mean, E, B, and D.
Do you know what a 4-sided shape is called?
Quadrilateral.
Oh, very good. Quadrilateral.
I know my.
Anything else? If you had to pick one that does not belong, which one would you need someone pick?
A.
Why?
It's the only one that has a right angle and also a few angles as well.
Do you agree that's the only one that has a right angle?
No, I lied. Well, I said a right angle and another, but F does too. So never mind. I take that back.
Yeah.
Because the bottom, that's it. No, it's not. It's slanted. No, I told the truth. Yeah, just A.
E and D have right.
No, but I didn't say it doesn't. I said it's the only one that has a right angle and also.
Okay. Then you can say, I would like to add what Ms. Adeniji said. I would pick that A doesn't belong because it's the only shape that has 3 sides or has less than 4 sides. And then you can start talking to them about what's that called. You know, they say triangle, which is good to know as well. Some kids may say, oh, well, C is long. What does that mean? Does that describe something because you say that it's long? If I make the square smaller, then isn't it still a square? So those are some things that they can talk about. And then you can ask them, what are all of them called? What would you classify all of these shapes as?
polygon.
What does polygon mean? It means many sides. So you'll have some kids that know that, and then you'll have some kids that just say they're all gray. And then you just kind of build from where they are.
They're all
Or
gray.
just know that it's triangle, it's a triangle, or it looks like a piece of a cake. Just those things, so you can build it from the higher level to the lower level, so it kind of gives those kids the opportunity. And this was the question that it came from: which three shapes are quadrilaterals? And then you could talk about why they're quadrilateral. And then you could even build from this one and ask them, what's this shape, and what is our national building called? Pentagon, and where it's located, so you throw a little bit of history in there as well.
Miss Baker, do you have your questions pre-written out?
Because I drive mine from what the responses the kids have. Because one of my classes, I can have a conversation just like this, and some of them, it's just basic conversation and just kind of put a pin. Because I hate to give it to them, I just want to build from what they give me. I had to learn that, to just stop giving and just say, okay, we're not ready, then we'll come back to it. And then I may have a kid, like I was talking, Dorian's gonna ask me something that's way up here, and I'll just say, hey, put that on the wonder wall, and when we have time, or when you have time, I'll let you research that. We can talk about it later. Because it's going to be somebody that's like, oh, I don't know what that means. Or come up with an animal that's the shape of, just, I hate to say weird things, but things that they've experienced that they can share.
That's great. I like your use of Wonderwall, the IB inquiry Wonderwall. I like the use of integration.
So the question is, why number talk? Why math talks? It clears up misconception. You can build from students' knowledge, from low-level thinking to high-level thinking. It's a way to apply the vocabulary so that they have that great math reason and they can attend to precision instead of just saying that shape there. Well, what do you mean? What shape are you speaking of? So that they're using the vocabulary that we want them to be fluent with. Here is where I got those questions from. When we had the training with the lady from the district, I don't know her name, Achieve the Core, you remember this? So you go to Achieve the Core, you go to Get Started. This is wonderful. So you pick on your grade level. You can pick whatever domain it has. A lot of this stuff I noticed is in the unit of studies as well. I know there was one grade that didn't like the unit of studies, but they pulled a resource from everything that's available that's free out there. So like you can click here, and it gives gives an assessment item. It gives you tasks that you can use as well. So like this is a question for third grade, and they came from the map. These are sample questions from maps as well. And it's saying choose 3 squares that appear to be partitioned into parts with equal area.
So instead of using choose these 3 squares, you would use one of those sentence stems that you had at the beginning of the presentation instead. But you would use this.
No. Because some of the kids only want to say, oh, it's A. Well, how do you know it's A? So if I take the multiple choice part away first and have you to just tell me everything you know, then you can answer the question. You understand more about the question. And then it just talks about the rigor. This item attends the students' conceptual understanding of what it means to partition a shape into equal area. And this is different from what I've seen online. It gives you the answers. Most of the stuff we find don't give you the answers. So it gives you the answers so kids can check and say, oh man, I got that one incorrect. Well, why? So that's that. And then there's one more I want to show that we use for 4th grade. I know you guys have used this before. And it's called Which Shape Doesn't Belong. And this has some different things that you can pick.
It's a cool website.
And you can talk about that, but what I would do is make a screenshot, cut and paste so that they're only focusing on one set of 4 squares. Because if not, somebody's gonna be over here or in the middle, or where did you get that from? So you just kind of screenshot to what you want.
And you break them into groups so that you have the orange and you have, talk You tell the group.
Can also do Snagit. If you the screenshot, you can also do all your computers have Snagit on it. SNAG, where you can clip. You just go to your search button down below.
Okay.
And that was just called Which Shape Does It Belong is the name of the website.
Mm-hmm. Which object does it belong? Which object does it belong?
Mark that.
Or which one does it belong?